What's up, my main girls? I got that name from one of my subscribers and I like it, so we're rolling with it. Thanks, girl. But let's get to it. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to do a glueless behind the hairline closure. Let's start with the braid down. I've never been one for a lot of leave out, so I'm leaving out as little as I possibly can to get a nice straight braid across the hairline. But you can definitely leave out more depending on the density of the client's hair, but I probably wouldn't go any further than an inch of leave out. I'm always concerned about putting as little bit of heat on the client's real hair as possible, so I prefer to leave out a smaller amount, especially if the client is natural. It's just easier for them to maintain. And then I'm just going to braid it up to get it out the way. After that's out the way, let's move on to the first braid. So just like in my other video about how to do a glueless closure, I'm going to braid this braid as close to the hairline as possible. And as you can see, I'm using very minimal braiding here. And this is just to add some extra support. I don't need a lot of braiding here because I do not want the braid to be extra thick. I just need it to be nice and sturdy. So as I'm braiding, you're going to see that I'm keeping the braid towards the front of her hair and keeping that braid right up along her hairline. And you achieve that by grabbing more hair with your right hand versus grabbing hair with your left hand. So you grab hair from the back and not from the front, or you don't grab as much hair from the front. So as you can see, as I get down to the bottom, you will see a little bit of hair sliding from the back and no hair sliding on the front. Because of this technique, the braid is focused right up along the hairline. This helps you to have a nice secure braid for the closure to be anchored on versus having those little hairs in the front of the braid that you might pop if you stitch into them. There's so many different braid patterns that you can do to achieve this look, but the most important thing is to start all your braids from the client's desired part. So this client is doing a center part, and I'm going to braid the first two perimeter braids all the way around to the back, and I'm just going to continue that and do zipper braids, make sure everything is connected, and then at the end I will only have two braids to deal with. And again, on the other side, I'm using a very small amount of braiding here. Now, I only use braiding hair for the first two anchor braids. Some clients may need braiding hair throughout if their hair isn't long enough or thick enough. This client has thick, long hair, so I don't see the need of using too much braiding hair. And for some clients, for some people, being that the braiding hair is a little bit wiry, it can slice your hair. So I'm not trying to figure out if that is for this client or any of my clients. So I always use a minimal amount of braiding hair. Now we've reached the back of our second braid, and as you can see, the first braid went all the way down to the back, and I have the loose end. So what I'm going to do is pick it up into my current braid and then continue to braid around so that I have two braids going horizontal across the back. I just pinned it up just so that I can show you guys a little bit better, but you want to grab the previous braid at a point where it's thin on the ends so that you don't add any extra bulk when adding the braid into the current braid that you're doing. So I just added the braid in, and I'm just going to continue across the back. And I like to do this braiding style because some people will just do a zipper braid straight through without doing the horizontal braids across the back. And the hairs at our nape are usually thinner, more scarce, and more fragile, just like our edges on the front. So when you lift up the braid to connect them, you can have those little hairs in the back either slide out or pop. So by me braiding it across, I'm not adding any extra tension to the hair on the nape. I'm just braiding everything up. It's less likely for the hair to slide out, and you can do one braid across the back and then continue your zipper, or you can do two like I'm doing here. And I determined that basically based on the size of the client's head. and the thickness of their hair. So just use your discretion. If a client has a smaller head, you might just want to do one braid going across horizontal. Moving on now to the second row. I'm not using any braiding hair for this or any more going forward. I'm just going to go ahead and braid this down, and I'm going to start my zipper braid so you guys can actually understand what I'm talking about when I use the phrase zipper braid if you don't already know. So I'm just going to braid this one all the way down. So we're basically doing a straight back, but just with the braids starting from the desired part. And then I'm going to connect all the ends. Like I said before, when you start picking up the previous braid to incorporate it into the current one, you want to make sure that you're lifting the braid up to a part where it's thinner, so more towards the mid to the end of the previous braid, and then you just incorporate it and continue to braid down. And you're going to keep doing this same pattern or technique until you get to the middle of her head, and then you're going to switch to the other side and do the same thing so that you have two end braids that meet in the middle. Here I just want to show you guys the progress and how everything is looking. So we're almost to the middle of one side, and as you can see, this is how we're looking. Everything is still nice and flat, everything is neat. I'm just continuing to incorporate the previous braid in and then continue to braid down. It's a pretty simple and easy braiding pattern, but like I said, there are many different braiding patterns that you can use as long as the desired part that the client wants is the starting point. Okay, well, I've spent way too much time on the braiding pattern. This is not a braid tutorial, so here's the final look. As you can see, all the braids start from one point, and then we are going to show the scalp some TLC. Then we're going to crisscross those braids and sew it into that empty space. This helps to make sure that everything is flat and you don't feel any lumps or bumps in your sewing. Okay, now let's move on to the closure install while you guys are all here. So the first step is to apply a net. The net for me is non-negotiable because the net adds an extra layer of protection to your hair, but it also adds security for the closure and allows you to stitch as close as possible without being limited to only sewing on the braid. I'm going to apply a 2x6 closure, so I'm going to sew the net around the perimeter while also taking into account the closure. So after I sew it around the hairline, I'm then going to go and stitch it back towards the middle of the head. And I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but you can watch and see what I'm doing. So I'm going to mimic it as if I'm sewing around the closure. So I'm going to sew around the space that the closure will go. And then I'm going to cut that part off so that I have exposed scalp and you don't see any net underneath the lace. I don't use a stocking cap, so the center of the lace will line up with the scalp, and that's how I will get my real scalp look. And in order to achieve that also, the lace has to be pulled taut so that the scalp is visible underneath the lace. Here comes the lace. Now when you're positioning your lace, you want it to touch the leave out hair slightly, because when you start to sew, it's going to slide back just a little bit. So you want it to touch the hair slightly so that when it does slide back, it is right, the lace hits right after her leave out. If it doesn't touch the leave out and you start to sew and it slides back, you're going to have a space in between the lace and your leave out, and you're going to be able to see where the lace starts. So the goal is for it to be seamless and for the leave out to blend seamlessly with the hair on the lace. So here you just see me positioning the lace to make sure everything is lined up, and I wanted to first start stitching on the left side so that I can show you guys. So I had her switch her hand, and I'm making sure the part is visible, making sure the part is lined up, and making sure everything is where it's supposed to be. And then I'm going to start. So as you can see, the lace is slightly in front of the first braid, about a ½ inch or so. And then I'm going to start sewing on the braid. So I'm not going to sew at the beginning of the lace, I'm going to start my stitch where the braid is. For this part, I'm going to use 2 needles, one on each side, until I meet up in the back. Using 2 needles helps to keep the lace centered and so that it doesn't slide over to one side more than the other. So you'll see me start to stitch a little bit, and then I'll move on to the next side and stitch up until the same point or somewhere around the same point, and then I'll go back to the previous side, and then I'll keep going back and forth until I meet up in the middle. This is where the net comes in handy because although the braids are close together, the stitches need to be closer. So I'm able to stitch on the braid and on the net to ensure that the closure is nice and secure and there's no bubbling of the lace. And as I'm stitching, I'm also holding the lace and pulling it. So the client's hand is preventing it from moving, and I am pulling it against her to make sure that everything is nice and flat and pulls tight enough to where the lace lays flat and seamless. I'm going to leave that first needle connected, and I'm going to go on to the next side and start with a new needle. And this is what I mean when I say going back and forth. So because one side is already halfway sewn down, she no longer has to hold it, and I'm able to pull it on the side that I'm on now without the lace moving or shifting. So I'm going to pull and stitch and do the same thing on the next side, and then when I reach about the same point as the stitching on the first side, I'm going to switch back to the first side and continue going back and forth. I'm always checking and adjusting and looking at the other side and double checking and triple checking to make sure everything is lined up, everything is flat, everything is straight throughout the entire process of me stitching down the lace. I probably should stop doing that because it does slow me down, but I'm very thorough, and I'm pretty sure the clients appreciate it too when I'm always triple checking to make sure their closure is laying the way it's supposed to. I moved on to the next side, and like I said, I continue doing this until I get to the back and the 2 needles meet up, and then I just knot them and then move on to the flaps in the front. Now, if you don't want to go back and forth, that's okay too, but you are still going to be working with 2 needles. So you'll just have the client hold one side all the way through until you finish stitching that side, leave the needle in, and then go on to the other side. We finally made it to the front. So now we have these flaps that we need to sew down, and this is probably the most important part because this is going to ensure that your lace lays flat against the skin. So I'm going to start my stitch on the part of the lace that's closer to the braid. So I'm going to go through the braid and through the lace, or through the lace and through the braid, and work my way until I get towards the tip of the lace. So what I do is start on the lace closer to the braid, and then as I'm stitching down the lace, I'm also stitching slightly further down the braid. So the further you get on the lace, the further you stitch on the braid. After you finish one side, you knot it, and then you move on to the next side. I love these main focus closures because it mimics a natural hairline that is thin in the front and gets thicker as you move down towards the back. But in this situation, I don't know if you can see it, but I could see the braid peeking through the front a little bit because the hair in the front of the lace is a little bit more thin. I didn't notice it when I was stitching, but you know, the camera brings everything to light. So I did end up fixing that later on just by cutting off a piece of the lace and restitching it down. But this lace is perfect for a closure install that is placed without any leave out. So you'll have thin, natural wispy hairs in the front, and it gets thicker towards the back. But yeah, if you encounter any situation like this, not all closures are made the same. Some closures are fuller in the front. Some closures are a little bit thinner in the front. So you might want to either leave out a little bit more leave out or trim the lace just a little bit. Being that the hair on the lace is dark and her natural hair is dark, to the naked eye, you cannot tell at all. But like I said before, these cameras, they just won't let you live. So we have to make it so that when she goes out and she's taking her photos, that everything is still nice and seamless. But as you can see now that we're done, you cannot see where the lace starts and where her hair stops. Everything blends very seamlessly. If you made it this far, I hope you learned something, and I also hope you are subscribed, because by you guys subscribing and commenting, it keeps me going. I read and reply to all your comments, so keep them coming. And this is our final result. She has in 3 16-inch bundles with a 2x6 closure. I just added some layers. She wanted a chocolate brown, so I lightened it a little bit. This process is very easy and very similar to my other video that I posted on how to do a glueless sew-in. It's just that you move it a little bit further back and you have some leave out. She is all glammed up and ready to take on the world, because you know, when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you are unstoppable. So go on, girl. Go and take over the world. If you're interested in purchasing some of this beautiful hair or booking an appointment, the link will be in the description below. I'm located in LA, closer to Long Beach.